Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Spaceless Realms Podcast. This is a early morning podcast. I have not slept in a while, and my brother Kalki over here is just waking up and starting his day. He drank a fresh cup of coffee, and yeah, we are both feeling delightful. We are both at our prime and continually evolving. And that goes into what we will speak about today, which is talking about the development of character, the development of the self that is composed of the higher self, the spirit animal, the shadow self, the mirror self, the ideal self, and the list goes on. But those are some of the main attributes which make up the self. And also, I forgot one more thing, the childhood self and the child self, the
Yes.
youth inside all of us,
And the eternal teenage self.
and the eternal teenage self, and the elderly self. It's
Yeah.
all a beautiful mixture. And by learning how to wield this mixture of alchemical energies that are in each and every one of our vessels that we inhabit in this space-time existence, we can become all that we are meant to be in all parts of ourselves and make that a chain reaction to assist others in seeing those attributes within themselves and learning to heal themselves, take the time for themselves. Yeah, a lot goes into developing your character, but a lot of pain and happiness, all the spectrums of emotions will be felt because it's a very beautiful process to discover yourself and discover your potential, who you truly are behind all veils of illusion. And yeah, so we'll be uncovering that today and throughout the rest of our existence throughout infinity. So Kalki, welcome. Let's talk about
Yo,
building
that
a
was
character.
mind blowing. That literally made me quantum leap into a different thought pattern about the rainbow self. And I started thinking back in the days, I was like, what's the rainbow body? What's the rainbow self? But it's the amalgamation of all the bodies pieced together. It's like what you just described in terms
Yeah.
of the different selves, from like the childhood self to the teenage self to the mirror self, the
Yep.
ideal self,
Also,
the subconscious, the superconscious, the
yep, ego,
conscious.
everything. Yeah.
So it ties into like the emotional, the psychic, the spectral, the astral, the subtle, the causal, the shamanic body, the shape-shifting body. So there's like, but then it made me think. I started thinking on a quantum level. I started thinking that each of those selves, the ideal self, the childhood self, the mirror self, the subconscious self, they also have multiple bodies. So that's the rainbow self in all of its glory, essentially, is all of yourselves, your core personalities, your secondary personalities, your tertiary personalities, all of the selves, all the ancestors, the descendants, all the ideal versions that you wish to be, your favorite characters, your favorite idols, or people that you don't idolize. All of these different amalgamations and fractions of yourself come into the rainbow body. It's a tapestry of who we are.
So I want to build into this by first speaking about the false self that people tend to identify with as a form of protection and protecting their ego, protecting their trauma. And it's like kind of like a defense mechanism that is built into the human conscious at this stage. So how is the false self developed and identified with? Then how does one break through and see the other side of themselves that contains all the different aspects of themselves, which is like the superconscious, the higher self, spirit animal, the shadow self, you know?
I think the biggest blockage to that, to me, other than like on a physical level, the biggest blockage to that is nutrition and water.
Yeah.
Like that's one of the 12 jewels. That's one of the concepts that was pioneered by the so-called 5%ers, but the idea of knowledge, wisdom, equality, understanding, knowledge, wisdom, understanding, freedom, justice, equality, food, clothing, shelter, love, peace, and happiness. So you need all those different elements, which are like, in a sense, the 12 bodies, the 12 aspects of the selves that we've enumerated. They represent different jewels. They represent different gems. So there's way more than 12 jewels. Obviously, there's many gems. There's countless amounts. There's millions of gems and jewels across the planet. And it's up to us to actually uncover those within us. Those are facets of our personality, like I've described, but we have to hem them into who they are. Sometimes they're in the rough. Sometimes you have to forge them. You have to reshape them. You have to cut them. You have to do all kinds of
Mhm.
things to make them into what they are, into those masterpieces. You have to perform art on them, essentially. But I would say the shadow self is something we should go into in order, because the shadow self's the biggest blockage to that usually.
Yeah, the shadow self contains so much potential, definitely, because it's a more darker aspect of the self that is meant to be embraced and learn how to feel the emotions that come with the shadow self. Feeling emotions is it's very powerful for sure. And if you're able to go back into your childhood and go back into your past where traumatic events may happen, you feel the emotions from those times of when you were either looked down on, thrown off to the side, or bad thoughts about you, or anything. It could be anything because it varies
Yeah,
from person to person. If you're able to feel the emotions that came with that time and see how much you've grown since then and embrace all of those feelings, then you'll break through another layer of yourself, connecting more deeper to your cosmic self. That's why I like to call it your cosmic self. It's like
yes,
as you unveil the the poison that this world tainted your soul with, then you connect more to your cosmic self, which is limitless and contains everything within that.
I agree. I agree entirely. I think that's why it's important to me. The way I found of tapping into that cosmic self or that rainbow body is art, poetry in particular, but then visual art as well, but through poetics. I think it's super important to be able to tap into the creative aspects of ourselves in order to discover who we are. And that usually the blockage to that is the negative aspects that we perceive of the shadow self, which is telling us the shadow self is like the subconscious. It's this ancient soul, this primordial soul inside of us that knows practically everything, that's directly connected to the roots of the planet and of Akasha, of the cosmos, and it has knowledge and information about our entire lives, like our full incarnations from the beginning of our soul's existence. But then because of that shadow self, it takes a lot for it to be humbled, or to, it's like a giant dragon. The dragon's not going to be impressed with you unless you do something very supernatural. So you have to learn, in a sense, to tame that dragon, not tame it, but more befriend it, in order to actually be able to grasp the power and the nature of the subconscious or the shadow self. And once you have that, you have a powerful ally. You have one of the most powerful allies in existence. But until you learn to do that, you can't actually tap into a lot of resources and potential of who your personality is, because it'll be blocked through fear, through paranoia, through delusions, through rationality, through limitations of human normality. But at the end of the day, your true self, your creative self, your limitless self, your cosmic self is not just normal. It's anything but that. And I think that's something we forget way too often. we should actually be more aware and more in tune with the supernatural self, with the mutant self, with the limitless self, with, how do you want to manifest? A lot of people want to manifest miracles one way or another. They want to do the impossible. They want to change the world in a big way. They want to leave their mark there. They want to be extremely creative. They want to do, but then when you tell them, use some superfoods, watch what you put in your body, drink water that's clean, drink some good quality non-slave labor, juices that are local, maybe if you want that, but take care of your body. Then they're like, what do you mean? This has nothing to do with creativity. And then they're like, but then they can't be creative because they're not watching what they put in their bodies. They don't realize they're losing tune with their true voice inside, and then the tapestry they're creating of their being, that piece of art that they're making, if it's made up of bits of rotting meat and byproducts, it's going to turn them into zombies. So basically, the rainbow body cannot exist with flesh and byproducts in the body, because you start becoming what you eat, which is to say, you start becoming rotten, decomposed meat and byproducts.
Wow. Shit. Wow. Well said. Well said in every way, for sure. Hmm. Patience is very important.
Mm-hmm.
And no, honestly, I don't have anything else to say.
Well, maybe we should conclude it on that point.
All right.
I think it's been good because I think we've touched upon a lot of aspects of the self in a very short period of time. And I think it's better for a lot of people sometimes if we don't actually do hour-long or 2-hour-long podcasts. I've seen so many so-called revolutionary New Age people
Hmm.
do super, super long podcasts, and they're not really talking about much of anything. They repeat themselves often, they use
Yeah.
cryptic words, they don't exactly define the concepts they're talking about. But at the end of the day, this is no nonsense. So yeah, let's do it. Let's do a tarot card.
Yeah. Right here. Boom. This is the Six of Pentacles. The Six of
Ooh,
Pentacles. What do you think?
that's very mystical. But a lot of if people got into Christian mythology, the Six of Pentacles would be very dangerous. Some people would say demonic influence, six, and pentacle. That's the sign of Baphomet. And I'm like, no, no, no. Those are ancient pagan stars. And six actually represents the evolution numerologically of five. So it's beyond the angels. Those are pagan guardians, those are druidic guardians. So it's the abundance of the magical spells of the druids, if you want to put it that way. To me, that's how I would look at it.
Yeah, it says two-way abundance, giving and receiving, being charitable, a positive and generous mindset, advancement, awakening, inflow, help coming from others. Well said.
Wow.
I show gratitude for my life through generosity and compassion. Wow, I like that. I feel like I've been practicing that. I show gratitude for my life through generosity and compassion.
Yeah, you do that. We do that. No
Yeah.
question. I look forward to doing it more. To be honest, I look forward to sharing more with more people. That's like, it's always a pleasure. It's always an honor. So I bless this
Yeah.
space. I'm really appreciative of everyone. And if you have any questions to any of us, please feel free to hit us up to, you know,
Mm.
check
No,
out the channel, link us up, send some comments, subscribe, do whatever you want.
yeah, for real. All right. Well, thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Peace.
Peace.